for a change that we're all creating. It's the moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now. Stand together. Live the dream. Be the hope. Share your gifts. Stand together now. Share your gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's the moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now. Stand together. Live the dream.
Standing outside the door.
Of love and mercy.
I wonder if there's a place there for you. To know there's peace inside. But still you're searching for someone who understands the pain you've been through. Spirit waits with open arms, calling out your name. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in. Come on in. Come on in. There is room enough in the home of love for someone just like you. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in. Come on in. Come on in.
Good morning, all you beautiful people. The first thing we all have to do right now is this. Pat yourselves on the back. This is the morning when we sprung out of bed because we sprang forward. This is my least favorite day of the year. So I think we all deserve to be congratulated for getting here. Good for you. I would also like to welcome persons that are joining us online today. We're so happy that you're a part of our community because we're all together in spirit. And the other thing is that if you are here for the first time, if you look at the back of the sanctuary, you will find a blue slip of paper on a table. And if you want to fill that out and take it to our bookstore, there will be a small welcome gift there for you. And we would be asking for your email to stay in touch with you, but not on an annoying basis, just to update you with what might be happening that might be of interest to you at Unity. And so now I'm going to ask Tony Orvitas, our Sacred Service Coordinator, to come up and make an announcement.
Good morning. Okay, as many of you know, Thursday night we had our Italian night dinner dance, and it went absolutely beautifully. We had a surplus of some $686 out of the event. Now, in the future, we're going to cut back on the ticket prices because it's basically a social event rather than a fundraiser. It's just the first time around, we weren't sure how it was going to work out. From a sacred service perspective, we had an enormous number of volunteers helping us out, and so much appreciation to you all. The installation of the new floor, I mean, wow. To Dawn and her team for coordinating the event, the shopping, the cooking, the preparation, the setup, the bar, the serving, the cleanup. We had so many people helping out. A special notice for Renee Sawa and Mary Bott for helping in the kitchen washing the dishes. I mean, 2.5 hours of washing dishes. Bonnie can't get me to do it at all. Also, in closing, a reminder about our AGM and potluck next Sunday after our service. So if you want to bring in some goodies for everybody to share, and get ready for a rousing meeting coming up next Sunday. Thank you.
So at Unity, we have a vision and a mission. And now I'd like you to speak with me our vision, first of all. A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And our vision. We are a loving, inclusive community, co-creating with spirit to transform lives. I'm sorry, that was our mission. My error. So I think it's time to sing. Let's sing.
You put your hands together if you want. Or if you don't want, that's fine too. Just join us and sing along. If you know this one, for sure. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. I've got the unity community down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I've got the unity community down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. I've got the spirit that is part of me down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I've got the spirit that is part of me down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. I've got the love and faith and understanding down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I've got the love and faith and understanding down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. I've got the blessings of the power of prayer down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I've got the blessings of the power of prayer down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. I've got the happiness that peace can bring down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I've got the happiness that peace can bring down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. Got my family at unity down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I've got my family at unity down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. They're down in my heart to stay.
As you know, Unity's foundation is affirmative prayer. If you wish prayer for someone else or for yourself, you're invited to use our prayer box up here in the front. Put a first name only on a piece of paper and place it in the box. No need to explain the situation, as the Spirit is all-knowing. It will be prayed over here at Unity by our prayer angels for 30 days, and then will be sent on to Silent Unity for additional prayer. Remember, 24 hours a day, you can call 1-800-NOW-PRAY to reach Silent Unity, where people have been praying with and for people for over 130 years. If you wish one-on-one prayer, we have a prayer chaplain available to pray with you following today's service. You can meet our prayer chaplain in our prayer room out through the door here and around to the back. Today's prayer chaplain is Wilda. Please come forward and lead us in prayer.
So if you feel comfortable, please close your eyes and go to your heart space, to spirit within. And Unity this month is focusing on building community. So as part of our Unity community, we like to bless Unity of Edmonton, Unity of Calgary Spiritual Community. We also bless all of the other gatherings, all of the other people who are gathering this morning. In any type of spiritual gathering, we bless them. We bless the leaders of our countries, trusting that the highest and best is unfolding, that the wisdom that is spiritually theirs is unfolding within them now for them to make the right and perfect decisions on everybody's behalf. And so as you think of your community, think of your family, your friends, the people that you love. And I invite you to whisper quietly the names of any people, anyone that you would like to hold in prayer this morning. So we continue to build our unity of London community. So we bless all of the people that are here today, listening to our service on YouTube, and all of those who are at home this morning who for some reason could not make it. And so I'd like to close the prayer with a quote from Mr. Rogers, the children's teacher, who referred to his television community. So as you go forth today, you make each day a special day. You know how? By just your being you. There's only one person in the whole world like you, and people can like you exactly as you are. And so as we hold that about ourselves, we hold that about the communities that we are part of in this world. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen.
Thank you, Wilda and Mr. Rogers. And now for our message from the Daily Word brought to you by Silent Unity. Oops. Wrong Sunday. I see my life clearly. The Apostle Paul saw clearly and taught regularly that coming into Christ consciousness transforms our view of everything, asking, "Has not God made foolish the wisdom of the world?" No matter how today's events may unfold, I am never overwhelmed. As I deepen my connection to the Christ mind within, I see beyond worldly appearances to the spiritual truth that underlies everything. My spiritual journey begins with my awareness of the divine power that is God. Infinite divine love is so vast, so unimaginable to my human mind, that I am in awe of its power within me. I see my life clearly. What no eye has seen, nor ear heard, nor the human heart conceived, is what God has prepared for those who love him. 1 Corinthians.
The first tune today is a song about raising our voices in joy. We know Carl and I love to sing. We know that many of you love to sing. And this is a song about letting all of that out. So if you feel like joining in, the choruses are pretty simple. It's just the spirit love goes round and round. I raise my voice in a joyful sound. Something that I want to do, something I must share with you. If you're feeling down and you're feeling blue, Spirit love will see you through. It lives in everything you see, including you and including me. Spirit love goes around and round. I raise my voice in a joyful sound. Spirit love goes around and round. I raise my voice in a joyful sound. With a joyful voice and spirit loud. I raise my voice in a joyful sound. Raise your hand and lift your voice. take a stand and make a choice. Love is all we'll ever need. Me for you and you for me. All of us forever one. So strike the chords and lead the drum. Spirit love goes around and round. I raise my voice in a joyful sound. Spirit love goes around and round. I raise my voice in a joyful sound. Make a joyful noise and spread it round. I raise my voice in a joyful sound. Love goes around and round. I raise my voice in a joyful sound. Spirit love goes around and round. I raise my voice in a joyful sound. A joyful noise and spread it round. I raise my voice in a joyful sound. When you feel lost and all alone, Spirit wants to walk us home. When we tap into Spirit love, there's one thing we can be sure of. It strengthens everything we see, including you and including me. Spirit love goes around and round. I raise my voice in a joyful sound. Spirit love goes around and round. I raise my voice in a joyful sound. Make a joyful noise and spread it round. I raise my voice in a joyful sound. I raise my voice in a joyful sound. Oh, thank you very much. Always a good idea. Raise your voice in a joyful sound.
It's my pleasure this morning to introduce to you Pauline Duncan Thrasher. After retiring from a long and rewarding educational career in grade school and community college, Pauline Duncan Thrasher became a certified consultant and trainer. As a distinguished Toastmaster and coach, her goals in speaking and writing are to inspire. Since joining Unity of London in 2012, Pauline has demonstrated commitment as a 5-year board member, past president, prayer chaplain, and presenter. And believe me, she's done lots more than that here. She's very modest. So please join me in welcoming Pauline.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Bonnie. What a delight to be here, always. And a delight to see Therese Van Ness and John here. Yay! But not wanting to center you out. Most of my quotations today will be from women. But I wanted to begin because you know that this presentation is about individuality. And I urge you, when you go into the fellowship room later, to look at a poster on the wall that we created once when Rev Lori was doing a workshop with us. And this particular poster has personality, and then dots of lines, individuality. And today I will be addressing the distinction, and it took me a long, long time to get it. I thought, Rev Lori talked about personality. You might have been here that time. And I thought, well, I don't want to give up my personality. So today the message will be about the distinction. Not my distinction, but I'll be giving you a message from Emily Cady. And it might shock and surprise you if you haven't read her entire book. But just to begin, Eric Butterworth on page 81 in his book about prosperity said, "Faith is really your consent to let your own uniqueness unfold and to let that which is attracted by your uniqueness manifest in your life." Your uniqueness. That in this room right now, and in the hearts and minds of all those who are watching, is a unique specialness that nobody else can copy, ever. Isn't that an exciting thought? One of my favorite stories from the New Testament is the story of Martha and Mary. And I relate with it because I relate with Mary. But I do want to give tribute to all the Marthas in the room, to the Dawns and the Mary Botts and the Renees and the Nancys who spend hours and hours in the kitchen. And that's what Martha was doing in this story. As Jesus and his disciples were on their way, they came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. Can you picture it? But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and asked, "Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me." Can you relate with that? I'll bet Wilda can relate with that. "Martha, Martha," the Lord answered, "you are worried and upset about many things. But few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her." I don't think this is a message against the kitchen helpers and the organizers. Please don't take it that way. But it is a message of Jesus' acceptance of every divergent personality. And if you go through the New Testament, if you ever want I say for fun, but if you ever want for interest, to take a look at the vast number of people that were in Jesus' life. So many different types of people. There is Peter, the bragger, the bolder, the loud-voiced. And there was quiet, soft, gentle John. And Jesus was a friend to both types, was he not? And within our community of London, we have many different types. We have Marthas, we have Marys, we have Peters, we have Johns. And that's all good. Lessons in truth. I was looking for a picture of Emily Cady, but I know that Tony showed one last week. So I want you to imagine that woman, that strong-faced woman. And I read a little excerpt about her during the last few weeks when I was preparing. And someone who interviewed her said that she was impressively tall, that she had a clear voice, strong mind. And so when I read to you something from her book, it may impress you. But just before I read that, take a look at her distinction between personality and individuality. Personality is of the human, it's ever-changing. And when you think about your personality, sometimes maybe you're like me. You put on a certain face and a certain demeanor when you're at a party. Oh, I'm the party person. Well, I don't, but you might. I'm a little more reserved than that. And maybe there are other aspects of your personality where you're quiet. Emily Cady says that the distinction lies between the ever-changing personality that's externally motivated, We're with a certain group of people, and we tend to try and blend with that group. Now, my favorite group next to Toastmasters, and maybe along with Toastmasters, is you. Because I always feel when I'm at Unity that I can be myself, that I don't have to try and be somebody different. And she does say individuality is the God self that never changes, that inner glow that shines forth, never changes. And we all have that inside. Now, there are times when we can feel intimidated. And why did I tell you about Emily Cady at the beginning? This blustery, well, I don't know if she was blustery, but I see her that way. This tall, bold woman who wrote Lessons in Truth, who was the first doctor in America, who went to homeopathic college way before it was accepted. Knowing that about her, you may be as surprised as I was to hear this. Some years ago, I found myself under a sense of bondage to a strong, aggressive personality. That was Emily Cady. And what did she do about that? After vainly trying for weeks to free myself, and she felt she was an utter failure. She felt discouraged. She felt intimidated. I affirmed that this personality could not affect or overcome me. But that didn't work. What did work? This affirmation. There is no such personality in the universe as this one, meaning her own, as the God Spirit within. The more you learn to act from the still small voice within, the God voice, the spiritual voice, the stronger and more pronounced will be individuality in you. If you are inclined to wilt before strong personalities, guilty, anybody else? You don't have to say it. Always remember that God has need of you. God has need of you, through whom, in some special manner, to manifest himself, some manner for which he cannot use any other individuality. What need have you to quail before any person, no matter how important? Are you as impressed by that message as I am? I read that over and over. I put NB and highlighted and starred it and thought, yes, this will need to be a message for unity. Because we live in a world where the big, strong extroverts and the blustery people sometimes hold sway over the quieter, more reserved, more timid people exist and are quiet because they haven't learned yet to let their God voice speak through them. So, personality, individuality, I hope that gives a better sense of the distinction. I also took a look at Ellen Davenport's The Five Principles, and the second principle in particular, which is, you are God. And similar to Ellen Davenport, when I first heard that message, I thought, gee, no, I'm not. If I'm God, what's the universe coming to? But she does explain that the divine presence that dwells within us, all of us, and we believe that, don't we? Aren't you aware of that divine presence? Sometimes more aware of it at some times than other times. When you really stop, when you get into a meditation with Wilda, who I was in the prayer room this morning, and I could hear this low, mellifluous voice, and it was Wilda starting the meditation and then leading people into a silence where in that silence we can hear the still small voice of Spirit. And this is what she says. The soul is part of the eternal you that has come to earth for a human experience, built a physical body, and began to operate on ego. And sometimes we think ego is horrible and awful, but it is part of us. It just sometimes takes precedence over spirit, over soul. The ego is not a bad thing, it just forgets that it's not alone. The soul is an eternal, here's the word again, individualized creation that grows, learns, and seeks ever closer union with God. And Spirit, present in everything, everyone, everywhere, is God, the one, the same for all of us and always available in the essence of who we are. That is a strong, strengthening thought. And she goes on to say, this means giving up our attachment to the dramas of the human experience. You know, our stories where we're the heroes or the victims. Giving up those stories. Giving up the celebrities and nobodies in danger or in triumph, in love or in loss. Pretty much any event that could make up the lyrics of a country song. Nothing against Jim. We love his singing. All that stuff, that's an expression of the ego. We nod because we all go through it, don't we? We have our moments of heroism and our moments of tragedy, and sometimes we create this big, long, embellished story about it. And it's our story. But in essence, if we can get back to the real inner spiritual self, that's our real us. That's not embellishment. It might be a clue to what our lives would look like if we were living in soul consciousness, integrating the human and spiritual beings that we are. And I know there are some granddads in this room and grandmoms, but I just love this picture because the still small voice might come to us when we're around children in their innocence, their openness. But the still small voice might come to us in the voice of people we love. Our fathers or grandfathers, grandmas, omas. The people that are special to us. Because when we love them, when we open our hearts to them, we see their love shining through to us. And from dear Myrtle Fillmore, how can we let God help us? And her whole book is called How to Let God Help You. You have some talent and capability. Just think about that for a moment. You have some talent and capability. So if you're into the drama of saying, oh, no, I can't do it. Well, get over that, please. It doesn't serve you. I know what that's like because I did it a long time ago. You have some talent and capability, something that you can do better than anyone else can do it. And through the loving, efficient service you can render, you will fulfill a need in the world in your unique, special way. You don't have to compare yourself with anybody else, ever. That's your choice to do that. And if you choose to do that, guess what you're doing? You're creating a big, pitiful story about yourself that just makes you seem like a victim. That's not a service to God within, is it? That's not saying, I am a manifestation of God. And God's life, love, energy, wisdom, power flows into and through me. That is the principle that can take us through so much tragedy, so many challenges. Hold fast to that idea. Hold fast to the idea that divine manifestation of spirit means living tall, spreading out yourself to the world in your unique way, with gratitude, with appreciation for all that you have and all that you enjoy. I just like this picture because it's somebody helping somebody up. And we can help people in so many different ways. Visit the sick. And you'll be hearing more about this because this is our month of community. And Tony addressed this last week. It doesn't have to be a grandiose gesture that everybody knows about. It can be something quiet that you do for someone else. And that is divine spirit showing through. Sourcing the light and being the light. We source it every time we go into quiet meditation. We source the light when we review our powers. Those wondrous 12 powers. When you come in, do you look at that banner on the wall? Do you sometimes, when you're in the midst of difficulty, say, I'll wear yellow boots, and somebody will say, that represents wisdom, Pauline. It just represents joy and happiness for me on a rainy day. But I thought I would address them. It's so essential for us to find a spirit of joy within. And we have a choice every day. And our choice is to recognize that divine spirit is the source of joy. And letting that light source within shine forth is our gift to the world. Let us take this into meditation. I invite you to feel grounded in spiritual energy. And if you choose to close your eyes, that's fine. To reflect for a few moments on your uniqueness, what you bring to the world. And don't you dare say, not much. Reflect on you manifesting as God. You are a manifestation of God. And God's light, love, wisdom, power flows into and through you. Imagine you as a source of God-filled light, love, wisdom, and power. Imagine all of God's light, love, wisdom, and power flowing into and through you every moment. You now have some silence to think of this. And should your mind be distracted, and that's pretty natural and can happen, I invite you to come back to this phrase. I am a manifestation of God. I am a manifestation of God. God's light pours into and through me. You might want to say it, whisper it. I am a manifestation of God. God's light flows into and through me. And in the silence, imagine this. Visualize this with all the wondrous senses that you can bring. I am a manifestation of God. God's light flows into and through me. And I'll let you know when our time is up. as we near the end of our time of silence, I encourage you to find a phrase that is meaningful in your life. It might be, I am a manifestation of God. It might be another phrase, a phrase that inspires you to let your uniqueness shine. Write that phrase down, practice saying it, and then each day find a quiet spot where you will be in the stillness, uninterrupted. And should your mind wander, that phrase can echo in your mind and be meaningful. With our phrase today, I am a manifestation of God, we conclude our meditation, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you very much, Pauline, for that excellent lesson and for your meditation. Now it's time for our giving and receiving of tithes and offerings. Our unity principles teach us we are one with God, Source, and so we give not to source, but as source. Giving has been described as a spiritual practice of radical generosity, insofar as the intent is to be an extension of spirit, tithing to what we wish to see flourish. Tithing is a source, is God in expression. At the back of the sanctuary, you will find intention cards. These may also be placed in the offering bag. This week, our prayer angels will uphold your intentions for what you want to achieve, either as a plan for your day or for your life. Now let us affirm our prosperity together by singing our offering blessing.
Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and so it is. Next tune today is written by a fellow named Eddie Watkins Jr. who's written a lot of Unity type tunes, and we think this is kind of a fun one, and we hope you enjoy it. It's called Get Out of the way. Running around, fixing this and that, giving it up to spirit, then taking it back. Just release and let it go. You don't even have to think about it no more. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Let spirit do its thing. Looks like the way the world is on your back. Just take a deep breath and cut yourself some slack. All that drama isn't good for you. You couldn't change wanted to get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Let spirit do its thing. The sun's gonna shine and the river's gonna flow. Time's gonna rise without you say so. The universe is working and the good is flowing. You know where to see. Dig it up to see if it's growing. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Let the spirit do its thing. Yeah, well, get out of the way. 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 Let spirit do its thing. Yeah, we'll get out of the way. Let the spirit do its thing.
Let's bless our offering. God, we know that everything we have has come from you and belongs to you. We are thankful to give a portion of our financial abundance through our tithes and offerings to this spiritual community, which nourishes us so that we may be your light in the world. Amen. So guess what Sunday it is today? Celebration Sunday. So, if you have something to celebrate, we would love it if you would come up and share it with everyone.
Oh, good morning. I hardly know where to begin. March has been very, very good to me. I officially received my bachelor's certificate. Good. And I am now an official practitioner for spiritual counseling and a reverend. So a little respect, please. No, just kidding. Also, last Sunday, I turned 66. And I'm celebrating our new flooring. And I'm celebrating that our community provided this flooring from one Matching Man Sunday contribution. So we are awesome, and I'm so grateful to be a part of this community. Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, wow, you took my breath away. Well, I'm happy and grateful to celebrate that my program got into the Canadian Mental Health Association.
Yay!
So I'm Intensity. Yeah. Thank you.
I just completed 2 more courses in SCE on Zoom and then hosted an actual coaching session on Zoom, which was a big technological leap for me.
Well, I'm an Oma. A little over 3 weeks now. Baby boy, healthy. His name is Lucas. And he's still in Holland, and I couldn't pack him in my suitcase. But I'm redefining what an Oma is all about. I gave up the rocking chair already, and I put away the knitting needles, and I'm planning on a trip for kayaking, I think. Yeah, let's try that as Oma's.
Well, I'm celebrating our Italian night dinner and dance, and all the fabulous folks who volunteered and helped out with that. I could never have done it without you. Thank you so much.
Well, we did a lot of celebrating on Thursday too. We were able to take the event, and
getting a little worried about you guys over there at the bar.
we had 2 birthdays. My oldest is 35 this week, and my youngest partner's birthday was also in March. And we invited our neighbors along, and I'm sure they had a great time. And we've been neighbors for 30 years, so it was a great event.
I knew there was something else I wanted to celebrate. For those of you who aren't aware of it, we're having a lot of success with the new group that is started here at Unity on Tuesdays at noon until 1:30, and it's called Women for Sobriety. So if you know of any women who are in need of a program for sobriety that is positive, uplifting, and very encouraging, please give them my phone number or my email, and we encourage them to come on a Tuesday and check that out. Thank you.
Lots to celebrate. So let's sing this time. We missed singing at the beginning of the celebration. Let's come on there.
Come on there. Yeah.
Sing about it.
Celebrate good times. Come on. Celebrate good times. Come on. Celebrate good times. Come on.
Hardly dance after Thursday night.
And now it is time for our peace song. So please stand and join hands, and we'll sing.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with thee. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let's walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And this week, let's remember we are each a manifestation of God, and every one of us is beautiful in that manifestation. And I think now it is time for our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The presence of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Yea, God.
Now let's really sing ourselves out of here today. What do you say? word. Spread the word, spread the word, spread